So I recently saw Bill Maher on the Megyn Kelly show and The View. And he, as well as President Biden recently, have said that the Republican Party has changed. How so? Welcome to Azimuth Podcast. I'm Kimberly McNabb, and with me as always is my husband Barrett McNabb. So have we really changed? Let's watch.
You took out a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible.
So one of the things that they used to do is say that there was, a shipping container of lettuce that was wanting to be sold in Japan. They didn't have a law that said, you can't import lettuce. But what they would do is they just take it off the ship and let it sit in the Japanese sun for a period of time, and till they got ready to look at it. And then they'd open up the shipping container, and all the lettuce would be rotten. And they'd say, it's rotten, can't be sold. So no law, but still impossible to sell stuff.
They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country.
It's interesting, all the way back from 1988 when he's talking about this.
Talking about making other countries pay their fair share, and looking out after ourselves. So I would say President Trump sounds the same now as he does
right.
as he did then.
Well, let's keep going and see if there's anything else we can glean from this.
And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job, and George Bush has done a hell of a job. They all went in there sort of.
So Trump, the racist, has given praise to the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who's an African American. And, if that's true that he's a racist, why would he say how good of a job that he's done?
Exactly.
I mean, really, he's praising Jesse Jackson, he's praising Dukakis, and he's praising Bush. It sounds like he's given praise all around.
Mm-hmm.
As semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
Sounds the same to me.
Yeah, but let's verify. Just like the old Reagan trust but verify. Let's go ahead and see a recent clip.
Macron, do you know Macron? He's a very nice guy. Macron, and really a very nice guy. I said, Emmanuel, how are you? He said, fine. I said, I heard you're going to charge American companies 25% to do things in Mexico. Who else are you doing? Well, nobody yet, but we will do other. I said, no, but you're not going to do it, Emmanuel. You're not going to, no, Donald, it has already passed. I said, well, you better unpass it, because if you don't unpass it, you're going to pay a 100% tariff on all wines and champagnes that are shipped into the United States starting tonight.
Boom.
No, you cannot do that, Donald. You cannot do that. I said, I can do that. In fact, I'm just signing it right now. No. Okay, Donald, look, okay, we're not going to do it. That was the end of it, Mike. That was the end of it. It was so easy.
I love his accent, his impersonation.
Oh, that's one of my favorite clips I've seen of him. But yeah, same mindset, America first mindset. And that is what we need to get back to as a country. And from my perspective, the Republican Party has been more of American first party.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when you look at, the historical American Party, Republican Party, and you take away all of the little ankle biters. You take away abortion. You take away taxes. You take away, from the left, pronouns and things like that. And you look at the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is for states' rights, right? Yep. Small federal government, states' rights. Whereas the Democrat Party is for large federal government.
Well, also,
and then you add in all those ancillary things that people talk about, taxes, immigration, abortion, things like that. So, for the Republican Party has not changed from being states' rights.
Not on the big issues, but
Yeah.
I feel like the Democrat Party has also been more about giving our country away.
Right.
To everyone else, and there will be nothing left for us. There will be no one coming to save us. I think one reason, old school Democrats like Bill Maher and President Biden may say the Republican Party has changed is they're looking at it from the other side of the field, where it's like that Elon Musk tweet from a number of years ago where he, there's this line, he has a stick figure, and it's supposed to be him, and this in the middle. And the left side of the line has been stretched so much in one direction that, relatively speaking, who was in the center, relatively speaking, is now on the right side. And all these people have nearly walked off the cliff on the left side. And thank God they're not flat earth people, because the earth's not flat. They just walk right off of it. Right. And so they're looking down here like, oh, they seem so far away. That's because you have moved.
Right.
So that's my perspective. And when I heard Bill Maher and President Biden say those things. But, speaking to voters out there, like, even if you don't like President Trump, he has not changed these ideas, his policies. And so when you're dealing with someone, like, who do you trust more? Even if you don't like them, like, where they stand. Would you rather deal with a coworker where they stand, or would you rather deal with a person you don't know what they're going to do next? I mean, typically they act more like a 3-year-old. They're just running in God knows what direction, doing God knows what else, and it's just unreliable. Like, what cliff are they going to lead you off of? Right. And so that's how I viewed the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that, and with Donald Trump, what you see is what you get, right? And that's really, I guess he's a politician now, but that's really the problem with politicians, making campaign promises and things like that, is they say one thing and then they do something else. Well, Donald Trump, he says what he's going to do, and then he goes and does it. Now, he could be impacted by a Democrat Senate and a Democrat House and things like that, and they gum up the works and gum up the executive actions and executive orders that he wants to do. But still, that I wouldn't say that's his fault. That's
just how our government works.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but still, he tried to do everything that he said he was going to do, and accomplished, especially things that the executive branch can accomplish. For example, moving the Israeli embassy to the capital of Israel in Jerusalem from Tel Aviv. And that was a long-standing policy that was supposed to happen, but president after president, Republican and Democrat, kicked the can down the road. And he finally said, "This is what I'm going to do," and he did it. And so that's just one of these amazing things where, he has a position when he wasn't even a politician, when, he said it himself on Oprah that he wasn't planning on running. But if he did, he'd win. And that's...
I think he kind of hinted if he saw it get bad enough.
Yeah, he'd jump in.
And that's what happened when he decided to run.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is those 1988 positions haven't changed. And and that's reassuring, because sometimes change is scary, but knowing who you're voting for and what you're going to get is, I think, a huge benefit.
Yep.
So thank you so much for watching Azimuth Podcast. Please stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.